He makes a case for this $180,000 3.5-year job. That's a little spendy.
A little spendy is a huge understatement when it comes to describing the big bill the Lee County Sheriff's Office sent Fox 4.
Yeah, they're charging us nearly $200,000 and say it'll take more than 3 years to get us those records showing just how well they're tracking sex offenders.
4 In Your Corner investigator Mike Mason has been following this story and joins us with more. Mike?
Yeah, public records provide us with useful information that we can then use to better inform and protect you and your family. Now, some question whether the Sheriff's Office is misusing its power to keep those records private. Robert Taylor admits to molesting his 3 young daughters, but swears he'd never do it again. However, he feels some sex offenders can never be trusted.
There are some that they don't learn their lessons. They just keep repeating and repeating.
Lee County deputies are responsible for verifying the addresses of about 600 sex offenders each month. A 4 In Your Corner investigation recently finding some not living where they're supposed to be. So we requested documents showing each time the Lee County Sheriff's Office visited these sex offenders. We requested 4 years worth of information. Instead, the Sheriff's Office sent us a big bill with a detailed explanation of each expense. According to the Lee County Sheriff's Office, our request will require a huge amount of work to complete. We crammed the numbers they gave us. Here's the breakdown. The Sheriff's Office would have to compile info on 600 sex offenders. Since deputies check on them each month, that's 7,200 visits a year, or 29,000 visits over 4 years. The Sheriff's Office estimates it'll take about 15 minutes to review each of those visits, and that translates into 7,200 hours of work, or 180 weeks. And they'll charge us $25 an hour to gather that information. So the grand total, $180,000. And it'll take 3.5 years to complete.
It's a kind of a troubling response.
That's reprehensible for them to do something like that.
For the past 15 years, Stephanie Eller has worked for the Lee County Sheriff's Office. She's now running for sheriff against Mike Scott. She worked as a public information officer and claims the Sheriff's Office has been known to stonewall the media.
When there was an unfavorable story, there were times where the records were not given to the media. Basically, we were just told that a document by that name did not exist.
But even though you knew that something did exist, that could be provided.
Exactly. That was what bothered me the most.
We also interviewed 2 media experts. Mark Karamanica is an attorney specializing in media law, and Professor Scott Libben chairs the ethics committee for RTDNA, one of the most well-respected media organizations in the country. Both question why the sheriff can't promptly produce these public records.
What is going on here? Why are your records kept in such a fashion that it's going to take so long? And shouldn't this just be in some sort of central database or report for each visit that you could retrieve quickly?
I had always assumed that data processing had made a little bit more progress than that in contemporary law enforcement. It's a little frightening to me to think that it's quite that sluggish and primitive that it would literally take 3.5 years to do this.
And if it really does take the Sheriff's Office 3.5 years to compile this information about sex offenders, we wonder how they're able to keep track of them since they apparently have no database. We requested interviews and a comment about this from the Sheriff's Office, but so far we haven't heard back. In the studio, Mike Mason, Fox 4 in your corner.
All right, thank you, Mike.